Welcome to KwikBites from Jamaica, your go-to podcast for quick, insightful conversations on the latest trends, intriguing stories, and topics that matter to you. Whether you're taking a break or on the move, we're here to keep you informed and entertained in 10 minutes or less. Let's dive in.
Welcome to KwikBites, where we bring you the pulse of Jamaica from across the seas. I'm your host, Kilo, coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia. Today, we're diving deep into the headlines that have been shaking up our island home. Buckle up, because we're about to take a hard look at some tough topics. The Bolt bombshell, a nation's icon betrayed. Let's start with the story that's been on everyone's lips for nearly 2 years now, the Usain Bolt fraud scandal. Our lightning bolt, the pride of Jamaica, has been struck by a financial thunderbolt that's left him reeling. Usain Bolt, our 8-time Olympic champion, is shocked and disappointed over the lack of transparency surrounding the investigation into billions of dollars defrauded from his and more than 30 other clients' accounts at Stocks and Securities Limited. Can you believe it? The man who brought so much glory to our nation, now left in the dark about his own hard-earned money. Here's what we know. Back in January 2023, it was discovered that approximately $13 million had disappeared from Bolt's account at SSL. Fast forward to today, and we're still waiting for answers. The Financial Services Commission has ordered SSL to begin repayments, with plans to pay out over $30 million to more than 200 affected clients. But here's where it gets murky. Only one person has been charged so far. Jean Panton, a former SSL client relationship manager, facing a 21-count indictment for forgery, larceny as a servant, and related charges. Is she really the only one responsible for this massive fraud? Behind the scenes, we have to ask, what's happening behind closed doors that the public doesn't know about? Why has it taken so long for any progress to be made? And more importantly, who else might be involved? The human angle here is devastating. It's not just about Bolt. There are over 200 accounts impacted, exceeding $30 million. These are real people, real Jamaicans, who trusted a system that has failed them spectacularly. What happens next? Well, SSL is undergoing a court-monitored winding-up process, but will this truly bring justice to those affected? And what does this say about our financial regulatory system in Jamaica? Let's look at the broader impact. This scandal doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's a symptom of a larger problem plaguing our beautiful island, a lack of trust in our financial institutions. As a Jamaican living overseas, I can tell you that stories like this make it hard for us to consider investing back home. Let's compare this to the actual living conditions in Jamaica. While the elite are losing millions in investment scams, the average Jamaican is struggling with rising costs of living, high crime rates, and limited economic opportunities. This scandal highlights the vast economic disparity on the island. It's crucial to debunk a myth here. This isn't just about rich people losing money they can afford to lose. Many of these investors were ordinary Jamaicans who had saved for years, planning for their retirement or their children's education. Crime and security, a persistent challenge in Jamaican society. Speaking of crime, let's shift gears to another headline that caught my eye. 4 guns, 57 rounds of ammunition seized at party in Central Village. This isn't just a statistic, it's a stark reminder of the security challenges our island faces. As someone who grew up in Jamaica but now lives abroad, I can tell you that headlines like these are why many in the diaspora hesitate to return home. But it's not all doom and gloom. These seizures show that our law enforcement is working hard to combat crime. However, we need to ask, what's driving this proliferation of illegal weapons? How are they getting into the country? And most importantly, what can be done to address the root causes of crime in Jamaica? In political landscape, the spotlight is on Manchester, where the Jamaica Labour Party and the People's National Party are gearing up for a showdown. As an overseas Jamaican, I watch these political battles with both interest and concern. The PNP is aiming to win all 4 parliamentary seats in Manchester, an ambitious goal. But what does this mean for the average Jamaican? How will the outcome of this political contest impact policies that affect day-to-day life on the island? It's easy for us in the diaspora to feel disconnected from these political machinations, but we must remember that these decisions shape the Jamaica we hope to return to one day. Gun violence continues to be a persistent threat in Jamaica. Our next story takes us to Spanish Town, where 2 separate incidents highlight the ongoing struggle with gun violence in Jamaica. First, we have a shootout in Leaseland between security forces and gunmen. The Independent Commission of Investigations is now probing this incident. Then, in Red Pond District, 46-year-old Anthony Breckenridge, known as Big Dread, was gunned down. As someone who left Jamaica partly due to concerns about violence, these stories hit close to home. They remind me of the constant state of alertness many Jamaicans live in, always looking over their shoulders. Behind the scenes, we have to ask, what's driving these confrontations? Are we seeing an escalation in gang activity, or is this a sign of more aggressive policing? The human angle here is devastating. Every shooting leaves behind traumatized families and communities. And for those of us in the diaspora, it reinforces the narrative that keeps us from returning home. What happens next? Will we see increased security measures in Spanish Town? And more importantly, what long-term solutions are being considered to address the root causes of gun violence? Vybz Kartel's concert controversy. Now let's shift gears to a story that's causing waves in the Caribbean. Deputy Premier of the British Virgin Islands, Lorna Smith, has spoken out against claims that Vybz Kartel is being contracted by the government to perform in the BVI. As a Jamaican living abroad, I find this fascinating. Vybz Kartel, despite his incarceration, remains a cultural icon. But his controversial status raises questions about the image Caribbean nations want to project. Behind the scenes, we have to wonder, was there ever really a plan to bring Kartel to the BVI? Or is this a case of rumor and speculation getting out of hand? The human angle here is complex. On one hand, we have fans who would love to see Kartel perform. On the other, we have concerns about promoting an artist convicted of murder. What happens next? This controversy might spark a broader discussion about the role of artists with criminal records in Caribbean entertainment and tourism. The economic impact after market fire in Lucé. Our final story takes us to Lucé, Hanover, where a fire at the Lucé market has caused millions in damage. Minister of Local Government and Community Development, Desmond McKenzie, has promised swift efforts to restore the facility. As someone who grew up visiting local markets, this story hits home. These markets are the lifeblood of many communities, providing livelihoods for countless Jamaicans. Behind the scenes, we need to ask, what caused this fire? Are our markets adequately protected against such disasters? The human angle here is clear. Vendors who have lost their goods and their source of income. For many, this could be a devastating financial blow. What happens next? We'll be watching to see how quickly the government can deliver on its promise to restore the market. More broadly, this incident should prompt a review of fire safety measures in markets across the island. As we wrap up today's extended episode, I'm struck by the complexity of the challenges facing Jamaica. From financial scandals to gun violence, from cultural controversies to economic setbacks, our island nation is grappling with a wide range of issues. But I'm also reminded of our resilience. The Jamaican spirit has always been one of overcoming adversity, of finding a way forward no matter the obstacles. To my fellow Jamaicans in the diaspora, I say this. Let's not just observe from afar. Let's think about how we can contribute to solutions, whether through advocacy, investment, or sharing our expertise. And to those back home, know that you're not alone in these struggles. The Jamaican diaspora stands with you, ready to support in whatever way we can. This has been Kilo for KwikBites. Until next time, walk good and little more.
Thanks for tuning in to KwikBites from Jamaican. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a bite-sized update. Share your thoughts in the comments and let us know what you'd like to hear next. Catch you in the next one.